Uh-oh. Something's not connecting here. Maybe it is. Aha! There we go. Hello, my fellow Alaskans. You probably just heard me just sitting there in a little bit of confusion trying to figure out what in the world just happened to my live feed there. I knew I should have had one going, but I wasn't sure what really happened. So yes, we're back and up and operating here. Thank you all for joining us. We are on day 2 of the Politadick show, and we are bringing to you new and exciting things as we keep improving what we got working on day after day. All right, enough of that for everybody out there. Thank you all for tuning in today. I am glad to see you all here live with me. Hopefully you're getting this loud and clear on your end. I have tried up and set up a different setup to where now when you see my lips moving, you actually hear what I'm saying at the exact same time. So hopefully that'll be a major improvement over yesterday's broadcast. We fixed some of the glitches that we were having going on with each different stream, and we're hoping to have cleared a lot of that out. We've added a few new features into things, like now I can actually just, on a press of a button here, it is just to make things actually begin to happen a lot faster than what I was able to do before. So now I can switch cameras from 1 to 2 to 3 to both of them at the same time and come right back again, and we'll be talking to you live in front of you. Today's subjects, we're going to talk about the Anchorage Assembly and Mayor Bronson and the political joke that's going on there in Anchorage. And yes, it is a political joke. You've got 7 assembly members that are basically just like our Alaska Senate and the House down there in Juneau. Have their caucus. They work together. They undermine the other 2 assembly members that are there. So you got assembly members, a total of 9, and 7 of them are dictating the entire policy, and everything that they're sending through is as far left extremist that you could possibly get, that undermines everything that has to do with what makes Alaska great. One of the most recent ones that they're doing, and then I believe it's coming up this week there at the Assembly, is getting out and finding out that they are trying to change the way our elections happen in Anchorage, in the Muni area, and the way you're able to vote and who is going to be able to oversee these elections. They want to be in full control of who's going to be seeing and controlling what happens within the elections. We saw it back in 2018 when they had the mail-in voting, mail-in only voting happen in the April election. We've got it the third one, the third time is going to, or fourth time is going to happen now is this year. And so 4 times they've had mail-in voting, and now here we are. We got the Assembly trying to change the election laws once again. And so that the people of Alaska, I say this the hands-on. They want to be able to go to town halls. They want to be able to hear from their actual representatives face to face. Taking that all away. Right now, the only thing I'm hearing from like our legislators going to Juneau here this month is not a single town hall has been scheduled. Nothing that has come across my desk anyways to let me notify me that this is going to be happening. They're doing a lot of things out that they're trying really, really hard to just make sure that us Alaskans don't know what their true agenda is. But they've already spilled the beans. People like Natasha von Imhoff, Ivy Spinonsholz, Brian Edgman, I can keep going down the list, Bert Stedman, and so on and so forth. I mean, the list is extensive and long out there for what they do have. I mean, let me just give you an idea of what we're talking about here. I got a list to show you guys, and there we are. And here's everybody that's just in the Senate. If I was to be voting, and today was the day I had to go to office or down to my ballot box and pick which names I had to choose from that I would be voting for and who I would not be voting for. Well, it's amazing how many of those names sitting there in front of us, every single one of them is more than willing to sell out our constituents' voices and votes down there in Juneau while they're in Juneau. And that's their whole intention. That's exactly what they want to do to all of us, is they want to take away our voices, take away our votes, and make sure that we don't have any ability out there to make the choices that our voices are not being heard. So we elect them, they get to Juneau, they answer to the special interests, they vote the way the special interests tell them to vote. And when they keep asking us Alaskans, well, why are you so upset and mad with us? What did we do wrong? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? You didn't listen to us. You didn't listen to the people who voted you into office. You just got down to Juneau and you answered to the people that have their hands out saying, give me that state and capital budget money. The $29 billion that'll be flowing in this year. And I heard there in the governor's coming out, and here's the proposed state and capital budget for 2022-2023 years. And when he came out with the budget, I heard the Alaska Natives come out and say, oh, wait a minute, and yes, I'm singling you out. They come out and they start whining, well, it's going to cost us $125 million approximately to put into these water and sewer systems into our remote villages that only have a couple hundred people inside of them. And, well, you're only going to give us $72 million from the CARES Act money to be able to, or not from the CARES, but from the infrastructure money to be able to do anything out here in the villages. And that's just not enough. Meanwhile, they received $1.7 billion to 18 of the tribes here in Alaska. $1.7 billion to 18 tribes. First billion of that was split evenly between all 18 tribes. Even if they only had 3 members in it, they got an even split of that $1 billion. And they're whining and crying, and I'm seeing it, and I've got the publications of them saying that they outright don't know how to spend this money. They have so much, and so they're putting in brand new houses, and they're weatherizing places, and they're doing all of these things that you would never ever in your lifetime ever considered a COVID reason. But the money that they were given that money to spend any way they wanted to. Any way they wanted to. Might have another power blackout. Because I just got power back about 45 minutes ago and just been trying to get things set up and running to be able to run this cast today. So they're sitting here whining they don't have the money, the extra $50 million approximately to finish up the project that the governor just got done proposing in his state and capital budget to fund over 75% of this. And they're whining, we don't have the money, but they got all of this $1.7 billion. They could contribute some of their own money that they got there into the project and have full funding. But that's not the intention. They want to make it look as if the governor's not doing his job. They need to, the legislators are using this as leverage to say they got to have our permanent fund dividends because the money that we were given for infrastructure wasn't enough to be able to cover these other projects that all this infrastructure money came in for. Kind of like the road from Alaska, the White Horse Trail, the White Horse, I can't think of the name of the road right at the moment. It'll probably come to me when this is all over with. But you know the one I'm talking about, the one that goes through Canada, that our infrastructure money is going to pay for. We're going to pay to rebuild Canadian roads, not Alaskan roads. We're going to pay to rebuild Canadian roads. Okay, you talk about stupidity. I thought this was supposed to be an infrastructure project that was supposed to help not rebuild Canada, not rebuild everywhere else. It's supposed to rebuild America. Just shaking my head. This is kind of stupidity that's going on in our state, and our governor is powerless. I mean, I really wish she had some ability to do something out there to change things for all of us so that things would get a lot better for what is going on, but I just don't see that happening. So where do we stand at now? And so we got to kind of figure out what are we going to do here in the future to change the way things are going on so that the dynamics of this next year, hopefully things start going towards the positive, like those down in Juneau decide to actually pass a state and capital budget that has major reductions in it, has the new ballot measure that's going to come out to let Alaskans vote on the future of the PFD, something they've been dragging their feet on for 6 years, and they already laid out their intentions. They have no intentions of doing anything that affects the PFD this year other than continue to keep pushing bills like HB, I think it's 4003 or 4006. I think it's 4006. And that bill is nothing more than taking the entire PFD and putting in formulas of 80-20%, and on the whim of the legislators, if that's not enough money, they can just change our portion. They just got to all agree to it on down there in Juneau. They don't have to have no input from us here in Alaska, and this bill completely strips out the old PFD formula out of legislation. So there is no old statutory PFD law, the statutory PFD law that's been out there for decades and decades and decades and decades now that they're currently ignoring for the last 6 years with their corrupted SB 26 laws that they have. Well, I can keep going on and rant on our Alaska legislators, but let's focus back on the Anchorage and the Anchorage Assembly here real quick. We've watched them suppress our voices. They've shut down assembly meetings more than once in the past year. They continue to say, oh, we're not going to discuss this, and then the next time that they go into have an assembly meeting, nobody's expecting anything to happen, and what do they do while they're there? They secretly go and pass ordinances that completely bypasses what weeks of testimony has been against. And lo and behold, what can we do about it? Not a dang thing, because there is 7 lawbreaking legislators out there, assembly members out there out of the 9, the 7 of them that are working in lockstep with the special interest to undermine anything that has to do with the mayor of Anchorage, Mayor Bronson. They don't want anything that is in his agenda to happen, because it puts the power back into the hands of the people of Alaska, the people that live in the community of Anchorage. And the Anchorage Assembly doesn't want that. They want your control, your power, anything that you may have had going on in your life completely taken away. And it's unfortunate that they're allowing those kind of things to happen. We're not being heard. I mean, we're not hearing the opposition that they're quoting showing up to these assembly meetings. They are not the ones in the room. They are not the one presenting their side. The only people that are showing up to the Anchorage Assembly meetings is those that are fed up with the status quo of ignoring Alaskans' voices. If the opposition is so loud, like they keep claiming and keep voting to pass their agenda, why don't we ever hear anything from them? All we hear is oh, look at all the letters that we received. Well, show us the proof. I mean, where are these letters at? Is this something that we need to maybe do a FOIL request or something along those lines and say, hey, we want a records request. We want all of the emails that has our correspondence in regards to this ordinance for and against it released to the public, so that we have a actual true understanding of where their votes come from. Because from what I'm seeing publicly and what's actually making it into the mainstream media for actual uncut, unfiltered, and not the left agenda voice that we seem to always hear, is we got to figure out where the truth and where the middle ground is going on out there. I mean, Alaska Watchman, he's doing an awesome job out there. Must Read Alaska, they're on top of it every single day. And I'm up and ramping up my game myself to where you're going to be seeing a hell of a lot more. Certain things that are going to be coming up here in this week is I know that we got a meeting happening with... let me see, I got AMAC is happening on this Saturday, and I believe they're having Kelly Chabaka is going to be there at that one. I will be live streaming that one. And then a week later, I think it's the 15th, it's another Saturday, Governor Mike Dunleavy will be there, and I will be live streaming that one also for everybody to see. And if you're not aware, we are live streaming live right now on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, both Politadick and Politadick Unfiltered. And if you've got any more social media out there that allows live streams, let me know that we find popular in the conservative market, and I will see about finding myself getting connected to it so that I can stream to them also. We need to continue to keep getting the word out, and the only way that's going to happen is if we start utilizing all of the platforms that are available to us out there and just getting the word out and letting people know what is going on. And okay, so let me just do a quick little pop in here to my messages, because I had someone send me something yesterday, and let me see where they sent it to me. Oh yeah, it was in my mail. Just a second. I really got to learn to stop doing that kind of stuff. And what did I do with that? It should be in my mail somewhere. Oh, geez. All right. Okay. I guess, I shouldn't be going looking for this stuff after I've already done it. Aha. I did the smart thing. I flagged it. I should have just clicked on that one in the first place. All right. In Anchorage, happening this week, January 4th, between 4 and 7 o'clock p.m. This is January 4th, between 4 and 7 o'clock p.m., so this will be on Tuesday. It will be a legislative listening session and educational session, part 2. Impacts of COVID-19 mandates on Alaskans. It's going to be at the Anchorage Baptist Temple at 6401 East Northern Lights Boulevard. And the special guest speakers is Dr. Priestley, medical updates from, Heidi Watson, Liberty Tree, David Boyle, Dignity and Discrimination, Sherry Coburn, Liberty and Medical Freedom, Mario Bird, Alaska Healthcare Decisions Act. Testify in person or by Zoom if you want to participate in this legislative session, so they will have a Zoom link for you to be able to go to, or otherwise show up in person and give testimony for what the impacts of the last few years have had on you and what you think. This is what they're looking for. And the public, of course, is all invited, and to give and let the legislators respond back to you. People that are going to be there is Senator Laura Reinbold, Representative Eastman, Kirka, Rosher, and Gillow. So that will be at the January 4th Anchorage Baptist Temple, and there's going to be another impacts of COVID mandates on Alaskans. This is number 2 for them, and they will be providing a Zoom uplink. I know if you go to Laura Reinbold's page right now, she has a post up there. That's just a little post-it type note that's there. if you go to the very first comment, and it has the link to the actual website itself to be able to go and get all the information that you need for the Zoom link and all of that for the Tuesdays. And I've been invited to go and live stream one here later this week, and I'm not too sure how that one is going to come out and happen. Let me see here. That is, what day is that on? That is on the 6th, so that's this Thursday at 6:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. at 190 East Paulson Avenue, Suite 1 out here in Wasilla. That's 190 East Paulson Avenue in Wasilla. This is January 6th between 6:30 and 9 o'clock p.m. We'll have Representative Kirka and Representative David Eastman there. They want to hear from Alaskans that live out in the valley, what effects of the impacts COVID has had on them over the last couple of years. What would they like to be seen changed to help alleviate some of the stress and problems that is creating? Give us our statutory PFDs. Return what you've stolen from all of us over the last 7 years. Wow, amazing. COVID impacts on every Alaskan magically disappears, and the special interests whine and cry because, oh man, they're all of a sudden no longer needed, and all of that money they're getting can be just taken away. But legislators don't want to talk about the positive impacts of flooding all of that money into Alaska's economy. They like having Alaskans living in poverty. Wow, my TV is glitching out, and so is my screen here in front of me. Hopefully we're maintaining a live stream. I'm not sure how well of a connection that we have here. I keep getting this flashing red down in the corner of the stream saying we're having really, really bad reception, and I blame that all on the high winds that are going on out there. Just prior to my power coming on, I received a text from my kid who happened to have been at Walmart shopping, and says, well, we had to get help to get the cart out to the vehicle. We had to get a couple of the workers inside of Walmart to help them push it out. They literally got started trying to walk across the parking lot, and them and the cart was literally going for a ride across the parking lot. That was blowing them across. And once they got into the vehicle, they watched this shopping cart from somewhere else all of a sudden chasing after this person, and she said it was the most hilarious thing. And I said, and where was your camera? The only excuse I heard was, well, they had 16% left on my, oh, okay, you know. We all know what excuses are like. She knew where I was going to go next on that one. So that kind of stopped right there and says, I'll make sure to get it next time if I catch it happening, Dad. I'll make sure I get it. So I thought I'd pass on a little funny to everybody out there. So again, if you're just tuning in, thank you all for joining us here today. Don't forget to like and share this video. I hope the little informative update that I've given about Alaska legislators and their intent when they go back to Juneau and kind of what is going on in Anchorage right now helps fill you in on some of the details that mainstream media is kind of just basically ignoring, or you're only hearing the oppositions. Those are all for what they're doing. That's pretty much all that we see out there coming from ADN, KTU, KTVA, you know, and Juneau and everybody else out there on the left stream. The Anchorage Press, the bought and paid for newspaper by the Anchorage Assembly that is as far leftist extremist that you could possibly ever get. And, you know, those folks out there, their opinions, their views, that's what everybody seems to be latching onto instead of hearing the stuff from where it needs to be coming from. There's very few conservative outlets out there, and that's the reason why I got into what I started doing, is so that you could start hearing the alternative opinions of what we're seeing out there. And I love live streaming things unfiltered, so that way when they come back and mainstream media tries to spin it their direction, they have a really hard time doing that when all of you have the opportunity to see it for yourselves, something that you normally wouldn't be able to get. And now you can see it at 4 different places at one time. So today officially it should be live on YouTube right at this moment in time. somewhere there was a privacy setting that was set, and every time I went live, it wasn't going live to YouTube. I had to go back in and retell it to be public. And I think I fixed that today, so that'll be another big improvement today. You can find us on Twitter, and we're also here on Facebook at Politadick and Politadick Unfiltered. And all taglines are always start out with Politadick. You can find us on all of those channels. And one last place you can always go is to our website at politadick.com. And help us out, and click on that support button. Donate a couple of bucks today and help us grow. Our next big investment is we're looking at some major output for wireless camera audio connections, and be able to upgrade our equipment. The average price for what I'm looking at, just for a setup for 3 of them, is right about $2,000. So this is a pretty penny to be able to do it, but let me tell you, I can set up a stream no matter where we're at, and have high-speed audio and video streaming into the live stream uninterrupted, unlike what you're seeing right now. It's all dependent upon my internet speed versus technology can do it. That internet just seems to not be able to get out of the way, and the ability to do more is just not there. So I really do appreciate you guys all being here, and high five to all of you. Thank you all for joining us here today. And we know we just got to work out the different cameras and the kinks. It's kind of nice to have just a one button push to be able to switch from place to place to place to place, and to even make it go from here to there to both of them at the same time. And this is what I think about when I keep hearing our legislators coming out and telling us something that they think we should all know. And this seems to be what we end up hearing when it's all through, because when they get down to Juneau, nothing ever seems to happen that they are telling us in person. So here's to all the legislators, and whatever town halls you may be blessing us with before you head back to Juneau, to go cower to the special interests to sell us out once again, to the special interests, making sure that we don't receive a full PFD once again, because you want to give it to the special interests. And so here's to all of you. Man, I hope you like that. That's kind of like I said, this is what you sound like. Yeah. Yes, can't ever seem to get enough of that one. And for all of you that's tuned in for this, for the entire thing, big high five to all of you. Woo! And you guys all have yourself a great evening.